from Investor, and I'm here with Hana from IntellectEU, with Mr. Manaa from the European Central Bank, with Wim Raymaker from SWIFT, Mr. Shawa from the Bank of Palestine.
You get the picture. Pretty much everyone in finance from all over the world attends SIBOS. And the key topics seem to be how regulations are creating a need for banks to innovate.
Due to regulation post the global financial crisis, the cost of banks started growing while the margins and revenues were compressed year after year, so there is a need for the financial institutions to change their business model.
I see a lot of changes, as I mentioned earlier, on the regulatory side, which means that we have to really make our game a little tougher around safety and security.
Client demands are really growing all of the time. Their customers demand more of them.
We see this happening now, that banks are looking around and actually starting to take that change.
And this applies to the biggest institutions in this field.
Innovation is needed everywhere in Europe, everywhere in the globe, because today we have a lot of pressure on the costs, but now we are moving one step further. And not only thinking about innovative services, but also base them and build them on innovative technology.
But of course, with so many leaders in finance united under one roof, there was also a huge focus on financial inclusion.
Over the last year, we've taken that a bit further with the Gates Foundation and their Level 1 project to get the more than 2.5 billion people in the world who are outside of the financial system into the financial system. There are 1.5 billion people in the world now who actually have no identity.
I mean, we're not just a bank. We are, first of all, operating in a very difficult country that's still under occupation. We started over 50 years ago, mainly as a agricultural bank, working with farmers and marginalized communities and villages and serving underbanked areas.
Now SIBOS takes place in Geneva, a city that seems fitting for this purpose.
Switzerland has the know-how and they have this sense of quality, and we have to remember that banking is a service and you pay for quality service.
And also, Bill Gates' words of wisdom seem to be very popular.
To paraphrase Bill Gates, I think people get kind of overexcited about the near-term impact and they lose sight of how big it could be in the long term.
Quote from Bill Gates that we tend to overestimate the change that we'll see in the next 2 years and underestimate the change that we'll see over the next 10 is probably a very true one. Moving forward, we're really interested in how automation enabled by things like AI and machine learning are going to potentially transform both the organizational structure of financial services and their talent need.
So on behalf of FinTech Finance and Investor, we'd like to say a big thank you to SIBOS and Geneva for a beautiful and insightful week.